month, so we have a new topic, a new theme. So this month's theme is walking by faith, and we're going to talk about faith in the month of May. And specifically today, we're talking about this idea: faith is a gift. Faith's a gift. So we spent the last 2 months talking about grace, and we talked about the gospel, and now we're talking about faith. And so Ephesians chapter 2, verses 8 through 9 says this: by grace you have been saved through faith. It's not of yourselves, it's the gift of God, not a result of works, so that no one may boast. We're saved by grace through faith, and so we're reading this. It says that we're not saved by our own works, but by ourselves, but by grace through faith. It's a gift of God. So what's a gift? What is the gift? Well, salvation is the gift, but also grace is a gift. And so where do we get faith? Well, it's also a gift. And so you're not talked into faith, you're not argued into faith. It is not a mental destination that we arrive at, that we work towards. We receive faith the same way that we receive grace. It's a gift from God. And so Hebrews 12 says that God has given us all a measure of faith. So we're all given the gift of faith. Ecclesiastes 11, which is beautiful, says that God put eternity in our hearts. So within us, hardwired in us, is this longing, this connection to eternity, therefore a belief, faith. Romans 10 says it's with a heart that a person believes. And so we're saved by grace through faith. This is what the Bible says, that we walk by faith, we live by faith. The good fight is the fight of faith. Jesus' most common correction or criticism of his disciples was, where's your faith? There is a statement in the Bible that says that without faith it's impossible to please God. And which is a dramatic statement. So without faith it's impossible to please God. So we're all hoping for, counting on, hearing God's well done, good and faithful when it's all said and done. And so we all want to hear that statement. So everything in life is riding on faith, which is a subject that I don't know that any of us fully understand. Faith is a concept that is always going to be a little elusive and a little cryptic. So it's like all of my eternity is riding on this subject that I really don't even fully understand. It's like math for me in high school. I was like, man, I totally get all this other stuff, but math, it is escaping me. I don't know what you're talking about. You're talking about a rhombus and all these trajectories, and you're talking about protractors and or schematics. I don't know. I have no idea what you're talking about. That's how a lot of people feel about faith. It's like, I get the general idea, but what the heck is it? So, and then truthfully, one of the fearful things that we all experience as Christians is, what if I don't have enough faith? Maybe my faith meter is not where it needs to be. And so some people would say even this encouraging word: you're going through something and you need more faith to get out of it. It's like, well, I don't know where to get it. Where's the online faith store? Can I get it Prime? Can I get it shipped to the house by the weekend? AJ did a great job last week preaching, and he quoted one of my favorite verses, one of my favorite statements about faith. In Mark 9, it was a father stressing about his son, and in desperation, he says, Jesus, I believe, but help my unbelief. So it's a duality. It's like, at the same point, I do have faith, but then I don't have it either. I am at all times that guy. I live in that place, in that territory. Whatever that territory is called, that's where I live. Jesus, I have faith, but I need you to help me because I got no faith. So in the same way that grace and faith are gifts, I want to re-gift something to you. This is me wrapping up a gift, and happy birthday, I'm giving you a gift. Something that has served me, that has helped me, that God has generously given me, and is a beautiful paradigm shift that is helpful and useful as it relates to faith and living by faith and walking by faith. in doing life by faith, this is so helpful, and I'm just going to go ahead and say you're welcome as I give it to you. As long as my focus is on the subject of my faith, I live with shaky insecurity. I'm anxious, I'm questioning, I'm doubtful. As long as my focus, the emphasis of my life is on the subject of my faith, I don't really feel the solidity or the foundation of faith. When my focus is shifted to the object of my faith, that's when faith starts welling up in my heart. And that's when I start feeling that I have a bit of a firm foundation. I start feeling solidity. The Bible says in Colossians, it's in him that I have already been made complete. What does that mean? Complete means lacking nothing. I'm not on a wild goose chase to try to discover, figure out, and earn more faith because you don't get it that way anyway. In fact, I would say that the perplexed statement in Mark 9, I believe, help my unbelief. God's totally comfortable with you living there, where you don't fully understand it because what human mind can? Who can fathom the depths of God? Faith is not a normal earthly thing. Faith is a spiritual gift. You're never going to wrap your mind around it. It's never going to fully make sense where you're like, I totally get faith. I'm going to write a book. And some people have because they feel like they've fully gotten faith. I promise you, if you question them 10 years later, do you think that you fully got faith 10 years ago? They would be honest with you and say, no. But I wrote a book about it and made lots of money. I have lived enough life as a Christian to realize as soon as I feel like I know what faith is, God moves the target. It just becomes, as soon as I feel like I've got the answer, God changes the question. I don't get it. I used to think I knew what faith was, and then I had to use it, and then I was like, oh, wait, I don't have any of that. And now, today, I could tell you, I understand faith, but in 2 weeks, I'll tell you I got no clue. It is really not riding on me, and that's really the point, because it is always and forever from God. Faith, the faith that we require, the faith that we need to please God, to live life, to walk through what we walk through, is always perpetually a gift from him. Always. And so to be focused on the object of your faith is the key, not obsessing over the subject of your faith. And so can faith be strengthened? Can faith grow? Absolutely. It can, and it is. It happens. But not by trying or striving or working. Romans 10 says that faith continues to come by hearing the gospel. In other words, that is passive, and it is a fixation on Jesus. That's what hearing the gospel means. You don't actively hear, like, you just hear. You don't tell people, hey, listen to the birds, and they're like, oh, okay, and they take stuff out of their ear. It's just there. You observe and take it in. It's passive. So hearing the gospel is just parking yourself in front of it, and then allowing the fixation to be placed on Jesus. I'll end with this. This is a statement from Hebrews. May our eyes and our hearts be fixed on the author and the perfecter of our faith. In other words, we don't do it, he does. So may we fix our eyes, our hearts, our lives on Jesus, our source. He is the author, he is the perfecter, and he is the object of our faith.